Hello gamers, Matt Lemke here with Through Gamer Goggles at CharCon 2012 in Charleston, West Virginia. And I'm here with Tracy.
No.
I did it again, didn't I?
Yeah.
And I'm here with Lindsay.
That one's right.
And Tammy.
Yes.
And I want to call her Trice forevermore. Because I'm really bad with names. And reading, because it's Tammy Pryce, not Tracy. Anyway, we're going to talk about their careers and where they're at, what they've done, maybe even a little bit with who they've learned from, because that's kind of interesting. And I've met Larry Elmore, so he has to be an interesting teacher.
He is an amazing teacher. Yeah.
More than, yeah, we'll go there. It's just, I'm just kind of overwhelmed with, I try and picture, I played monkey flinging poo with him at Con on the Cob last year, so I can't imagine him teaching somebody how to.
Oh, it's fun. It's
fun.
fun.
I'm sure, and that's got to be it. It's got to be a riot. Mm-hmm. But anyway, who wants to go first? Where and, okay, we'll go from the far side and we'll work closer.
Okay.
So how long have you been doing art now? And there's an interesting story to that.
Yes.
Well, let's go there.
I've been doing art in general probably for about 10 years, but I've only been professional artist in the last 5 years.
And
What I consider professional. I started out my career working at Fenton Art Glass Company, which is just up the river here in Williamstown, West Virginia. And I worked there hand painting on glass for 5 years.
Oh, wow.
So I was one of their top decorators.
I didn't even know they still did that.
Yes. They're closed down now. They closed down about a year ago.
So like you did lampshades and actual...
Yes.
What?
Yes.
And
Baskets and plates and eggs and all that.
wow. So that's why you like still do those bottles with the little wraps.
Yes.
And what made you realize that you wanted to do it professionally?
Well, actually, it's funny because I had left that and being an artist and had gone over into the corporate world, which I hated. And my boyfriend at the time saw some dumb little sketch that I had done for a little craft project, and he's like, wow, this is really good. And he was on Larry Elmore's email list and had just found out that Larry was having his second class ever, and he goes, I'm sending you to that class, you're going. And ever since then, I've been drawing and painting. All because of Larry. So I didn't even know
really,
I
it's
could
because
do
of your
it.
boyfriend.
Well, yes, all because of Jimmy.
Okay, now, for you, Lindsay.
Well, my grandfather was an artist. It kind of came to me genetically. He kind of taught me, but
Really? You think it's genetic?
I don't know. It runs in the family. My uncle's an inventor. One of his daughters.
I would say the creativity is for sure.
So yeah, it just kind of ran in the family, and I've been doing it professionally for about 10 years.
And how'd you get your start?
How did I get my start? Just decided one day to do it myself. I'm not interesting. Sorry.
Actually, where you've gone with your art is interesting, and we'll come back to that in a second, and we're going to go back to Tracy. And
Tammy.
God darn it. Oh, boy. I need a beer. Who's buying me a beer?
We should have done that first.
That'd probably be better. Tammy, have you actually done any like game-specific art yet, or
Not
it's
yet.
just all fantasy setting? And you seem to focus on, you're influenced definitely by Larry Elmore.
Mm-hmm.
I have picked up at least a couple of pictures that have that influence. You'd like to draw women. Not so much women, but they seem to be a lot of fairy/butterfly type of people.
Mermaids.
Mermaids. Yeah, and why are you drawn to that?
I've always liked fairies. I just think they're pretty. I think the female figure is very pretty as opposed to a masculine. I have drawn several men. I've actually done a male fairy, so which seems to be very popular because it's not something that you see very often. So you see a lot of females, but not a lot of males.
Yeah, that is really kind of odd, actually. Try to picture one, I can't. It's different. It definitely unique. Wow. Now you got me thinking about that.
Now you need to do a merman.
Yes.
That's not new.
I've had many requests for more of the male fairies and the mermen, and there's actually been requests from the public asking for this, so I'm trying to give them what they're asking for.
Next you're going to have to do leprechauns.
Are they going to be the next big thing?
They already kind of are, I think. I think there's a niche market for leprechauns. Or gnomes. Do gnomes. Got Bustin' Games just made a gnome game. I mean, that says something. You got that little gnome on, what is it, hotels.com?
Oh, yeah.
I've only done one gnome. I made a Gnomeo for my daughter.
A gnomeo.
From Romeo and Juliet. I don't know if you ever saw that.
No, that's after my time. Poor Shakespeare. Gnomeo. But you've had some interesting experiences with the IP world. You've spent some time working with Margaret Weiss Productions, which had to be interesting, and some of the stuff that you have is just really neat. And you weren't allowed to, well, tell me about it so I don't butcher it.
Yeah, I submitted, well, actually, my friend Richard Wilhite, back in the day, he was part of the playtesters for the Serenity RPG. He was on that group. And when he saw that they were looking for artwork, he submitted my stuff. And so we didn't hear, and we were like, hey, if you don't want it, could you at least tell us that you don't want it? And they were like, oh, no, we want your artwork. So I got on, and I ended up doing Dragonlance and the Serenity RPG and the Battlestar Galactica and then the Supernatural RPG. And then I recently have shifted gears, and I'm doing for Signal Fire Studios, which is Jamie Chambers. And so we're doing card games now. I'm doing the Pantheon card game.
That's right.
That's where Aphrodite
That's
and
why I
all
heard
that good
that.
stuff. Yeah.
We talked about it in the interview last week.
Oh, okay.
I played Elder Gods with him. He's talking about all these other games that he's got coming out. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, the holdup on that one's me. Sorry, because I'm being meticulous with my gods and goddesses because I want them to be awesome.
That's okay. You're allowed. But what I wanted the public to know about is if they pick up your saffron, it doesn't necessarily strike you right away as saffron, and there's reason behind that.
Well, yeah, because they didn't actually have the permission to do the actual actress from the show, so it's the character. They had the intellectual property rights for the character, but not the actress herself. So it's a different model, but same attitude. But when I did Supernatural, I actually got...
So that was actually you didn't actually just kind of create her. That was actually a model?
Yeah, I used a model for that. So.
Oh, wow.
She doesn't look exactly like that, but...
Well, no, I would imagine that, the power of the pen changes a lot of things. So, and pretty much at your whim. But by the time Supernatural came around, it looks like they were a lot closer to the actors.
Oh, well, they were. They actually had to be approved by the actors before they went into it. This was for the Hunt Begins, which was the quick start guide for the Supernatural RPG. And they gave me Sam and Dean. And I had a super big crush on Dean at the time. And so
it was exciting.
It was exciting, but it was nerve-wracking because it was like he had to approve it. I'm like, what? My crush has to look at this? Oh my God, and approve it? It's like your soul is bared in front of him. And
I'm sending him this email.
Great.
I'm sending him this.
But I will say my crush got killed by the end of it because by version 10, trying to make it perfect, I just started hating his hair. I never wanted to look at it again. Okay, yeah, I still have a crush on him, but
That's fair.
It's a little dampened now.
Sandra Garrity, I don't know if you guys know who she is, but she has done a lot of sculpting for the miniatures world, and she said one of the neatest things that she ever had to do was meet like Jean-Luc Picard and Riker and all the different, because it was really funny because like she sculpted the Enterprise, and I think it was the Enterprise, but she didn't like sculpt the characters, she like sculpted ships, but all the major actors of the series had to approve it. And she was like, wow, she's like, that was really cool. And it was even cooler, she goes, it was even cooler that they had to come and approve my work. Like it says a lot about that IP, and I'm like, man, that had to be an experience. Well, she was also at Lucas Ranch. I mean, she's been sculpting forever. Sorry, Sandra.
I never got to meet them. That was a third party kind of thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of a bummer.
No, they gave it the okay, and like, yay, it was great. But I never actually got to meet them. My art director got to meet them, and everything, but not me.
Wow.
But that's okay.
But there'll be more opportunities.
But you're going to show this to him, right? So he's going to come after me.
If I can find him on Facebook.
Oh, okay, there we go.
It's probably not even him. He's probably paying somebody to do it because he's too busy. The only one that I actually believe actually posts their own stuff on Facebook is like Vin Diesel. Because when he does post, it's just like, it's got to be him. I mean, nobody else would say that. I mean, it's got to be him. It's either that or somebody's paid a lot of money. Because, yeah. I mean, I follow a couple other big names, and it's just like, really? That's you? Maybe Alyssa Milano's real on Twitter.
I don't know. The Twitters are usually pretty genuine.
No,
Well, I know Felicia Day. It's her because we were at the Comic-Con panel and she was busy tweeting
Oh yeah, it's her.
underneath the table.
Yeah, that's really her because when I was at Origins, she asked me what my Twitter account was, and it wasn't like 10 minutes, and the True Gamer Goggles was followed by Felicia Day. So it was just like, wow, that's huge. That was like my weekend. That made my weekend. Because I mean, hey, it's like saying I have $1 million. I really don't know what the heck that means. But well, I don't. I mean, it's like, yeah, I can write the number, but it's like, okay, so Felicia Day is following us on Facebook. It's like, wow, that's really cool. How many people does she touch? So if she ever retweets anything, it's the potential, but I can't put that into perspective. I don't really know what that means. It's just like, that's another whole thing. Let's go back to talking about art. Let's go to, what is your favorite piece of art that you haven't done?
I haven't.
I'm back to Tammy.
Okay.
I haven't done?
That's not yours. That's another artist's.
Oh, okay.
Well, see, now you actually just
That's-
led me into another question that I've never asked an artist. That's
Oh, wow.
awesome. I love stumping artists.
That's really a tough question because I have.
It usually is.
I have so many artists that are friends, and so many of them I love their
Well,
work.
it can even be a classic, which is what a lot of artists go back to. They go back to the classics.
I don't know. I needed time to think about that one.
Okay, well, let's move into what's your favorite piece that you've done.
I would probably have to say it would be my newest piece.
That's
I just did,
the one
which
that
is a
you-
blue mermaid. She's
Oh,
a blue mermaid,
okay.
and she's sitting on a rock by the ocean. And I think composition-wise and skill level-wise, it's the best that I have done. So probably most artists will tell you that their latest piece is their favorite because our skill level improves with each piece. So we
Interesting.
like it more as we go.
So you're a
because-
perfectionist.
Yes,
Most
I am.
artists are.
Yes, I'm guilty.
No, they're not.
They're not.
No, I don't think so. I think a lot of them are very particular to their style, but I don't necessarily think they're, at least not in the experience I've had with them. There are certain artists that I would definitely say are perfectionists. Like, I would say Ed Beard probably is. I don't know Larry well enough to know him yet, but from talking to him, I wouldn't necessarily think he's a perfectionist. I would think he just has a great amount of aspiration to make it as complete as possible. But I really don't know him that well. Whereas, like, let's see here, who else do I know? Well, Lance Miller, perfectionist. Gosh, I've only talked to him about 3 or 4 times. He's really good with what he does, and he wants to be better. I don't know if I would say that makes somebody perfectionist. I think as an artist, you want to express yourself, and you generally want to be better. And I think it applies to a lot of different things in the arts. I'm trying to come up with another good example, but I can't right now. Well, Alan Williams is actually a really good example. He, a couple years ago when I got to work with him at the pre-release for Magic the Gathering, he's like, yeah. I go, man, I did not recognize you from your new art. And he goes, well, that's good, thank you. I go, I basically just dissed all your old art. He goes, yeah, but if as an artist you don't get better, maybe you shouldn't be an artist. And I don't think, I didn't take it as like his attitude was, I have to do this to be better or to make everything perfect. I took it as, if you're not going to grow within what you do, then maybe it's time to consider something else, like you've hit that high point.
Well, that's anything in life. You got to grow.
Yeah, and I think, and I took that to heart with a lot of different things, and I applied it, and I kind of think that a lot of artists might call it perfectionism, but I don't necessarily think that's really what it is. It's like the difference between tomato and tomato, I guess. But I could, with the attitude you took, I could see how you would definitely, like, I want everything to be as perfect as possible within my skill level. Whereas I don't necessarily think every artist does that. And it was really neat because, like, I thought you were going to, when you said your most recent piece, it was the one that you did, like, right after you finished that class with Larry Elmore, because you're very happy with that piece. And,
Yes.
And, you know, and there's something to be said about black and whites, too, because, you know, I didn't really, actually, probably until college, I didn't consider black and white art. I just didn't. Well, I'm not an real artsy, actually. My appreciation really started with Magic the Gathering. Sorry. and that says a lot because I guess if you look at the early Magic the Gathering art and you look at Magic the Gathering art now, it's light years. I mean, some of that stuff back then was really good. And actually, Sarah Angel is probably still one of my favorite pieces. There's something just magical about that piece of art. I would really kind of like to see it like 3x3. But some of the other Sarah Angels that have come after that, I just kind of don't like. And sometimes it's not. Now I find myself doing things like, oh, this is D&D art and this is Pathfinder art. I'm like, boy, they're both unique in their own way, but what's the real difference? And I can't find the real difference. So now I actually kind of find myself trying to be a critique, which is really a big jump from where I've come. And it's from people like Ed that are all in the fantasy industry. And last couple of years, it's really been kind of neat doing the interviews because you get to learn little things like yeah, or like people want you to do art. No, you don't want me to do that to poor paper. But I guess we'll come back to you now, Lindsay. And what is your favorite piece that somebody else has done?
Well, I can tell you my favorite artist is probably William Bouguereau. And he is a...
I know that.
Most people don't. He was during the Impressionists, but he was a very realistic painter, and a lot of his artwork is very, very detailed and looks very, very real, but has a very romantic kind of feel to it. You have no clue what I'm talking about.
I think I screwed up.
Did it stop?
It just dawned on me that, oh, no, good, I didn't screw up. Yay! I got a candy bar. From here, I see a green dot.
I see a red dot.
Yeah, that's red.
I don't see the red dot from this angle,
Okay.
so I thought I wasn't recording. Sorry, we can continue, and I'm not dumb. So what's the favorite piece that you've done?
Done? Well, I do love my most recent ones, Aphrodite and Athena. They're two of my favorites.
Are they here?
Yes, yes. They're the canvas ones.
Oh, those are all, they're all part of the same series? Oh, so, okay.
They're
That's
the
what I'm
two
looking at in my head, but I can't picture one that I would call Aphrodite.
Aphrodite standing in a big seashell on the sea.
Oh, okay. I can see that now.
And Athena in the armor, spear.
With the owl.
Oh, okay. I was just looking at that black and white while you were eating dinner.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm like, wow, that's really kind of neat. And I'm like, I wonder who this is. So, did you figure it out yet? She's like, I'm not going to do that.
No,
Well, do you have a favorite artist?
such a tough choice.
yeah, I don't think I could do it, and I'm not a big artsy person, so I have limited selection.
I have so many favorites. It's really hard. I've had a lot of great influences. Obviously, Larry Elmore, Ed Beard has been a wonderful mentor and has influenced me greatly, not only in my art, but also in just the professional side of trying to be an artist.
He's real good at
very
that.
knowledgeable.
He's very good at
he's
that.
Awesome. So, and then most recently it's been Lindsay, and I have learned so much from her just in the past few months.
I learned from you too, man. You're awesome.
But that's good.
So, but yeah, we
And
learn from each other.
That's one real cool thing about this community. It's very tight.
Yes.
I wouldn't call it a clique, but it's like a cell. I mean, we're not talking about terrorists.
Well, we all go to the same conventions and we see each other, time and
And you
time
always
again
share,
throughout the
though.
year.
You always share.
Well, we found out that we live like 10 minutes away from each other. And so like we just started creating together, and now
You
we
guys
really
need to start like an art group.
we want to. We've
Want
actually
to.
got a name.
Yes, we've
Well-
already got the name picked out.
You can just start it in your house. Trailer, whatever.
No, I'm just trying to imagine people coming to our house because it's never clean.
Well, then, I mean, I don't know where, like, this is not my area, so I really can't say anything. But I'm sure, like, a bookstore would love to have something like that.
One of our goals as a team together, and we've actually already gone and looked, is we want to have our own store. And we have so many wonderful artists that are friends that we want to have a gallery in the store and give art classes and have art from all of our artistic friends, from all over the country, submit for the gallery, and just have a mishmash of all different kinds of art and classes, and provide printing services for people, bookbinding services,
We dream big.
That's,
So,
I was gonna say,
yeah.
that's a big dream. I mean,
Yeah, we have big plans of
When I
what we'd
started,
like to do.
when I started this blog, I had no idea what I was getting into. I mean, it has evolved. Yeah, I mean, no, when I first started the blog, it was supposed to be a break from fiction. Well, you see where I'm at. And I mean, a year ago, pretty much to the day, this was never intended. Like, I was asked by a friend, he said, well, would you interview so-and-so at Con on the Cob? I ended up doing 18 interviews with that little voice recorder, and they were all audio. And then people were like, well, you should just, go ahead and do this and try and get advertising on your website. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. So I started doing it, and one guy's like, well, let's do a video. So I did a video. And now I'm 150 videos in a year later. So I've been doing about 4 videos a week, and not what I intended. So it can take on horns. Any business venture you can do can take on horns.
Well, we are going to start doing classes for sure.
Yes.
We
Well, that's
don't have
good.
a building, we don't have a store or anything, but we've
I don't think you need it. I mean, there's got to be a coffee shop around, right?
Well, there's a
Coffee
place-
shop would be a cool place to do art.
We wanted, that was half of the thing, was a coffee shop gallery.
Well, move up towards the Canton area, and I'll do all the cooking and coffee. So,
Well, Canton's like right up the road from us.
In Georgia.
Yeah,
Canton, Georgia.
no.
A little different.
but how far south am I?
Use your pocket time.
We
Yeah.
actually do have a store nearby where we live. It's called Forever in a Day. And it's a little new age shop, and they have taken some of our art on as commission, so they have it there in the store, and they're going to allow us to teach art classes there.
See, and that's all you need to start with. It's like the dice guy who's across from the table from you. He started his table business. I mean, it's a hobby to him, is what he says, and a smart man because he doesn't have a retail store. With 50 cents. He
How
bought
does that
he bought a game of Risk at Salvation Army or something for 50 cents, and he took it to an auction, and it sold for $5.
Wow.
And he just kept doing that. And then it got to a point where he had so many games, it wasn't worth his time to sit around the auction hall and take care of it. So he just started getting tapes. And that's how his business started. So the fact that you're going to start teaching classes, I mean, that is a great start. And then, who knows, maybe people will start tipping you.
We'll start teaching classes so we can afford to go back to Larry's classes again.
I actually want to send my wife, because my wife actually has some really intricate art talent. And like, I mean, she's never been, like she was homeschooled, so I don't even know what kind of art talent, art school she had. She may not have had any, but when she took Ed's class, I was just like, okay, your dragon's a lot smaller than his dragon head is, but, you know, that's a pretty darn good copy for somebody who has never done any art before. I was just like, I was jealous. Because it's like, I have tried, I haven't like taken college classes or anything like that, but in school, we had to take X amount of art. And I took things that I thought I would be good at, and it just turns out I'm good at rough stuff.
Well, I highly recommend Larry's class to anybody who's even considering taking it. I've been to 7 of his classes.
Holy cows.
Yes,
Wait,
7.
7, like weekend? They're weekend?
Their weeks.
Whole week class.
Holy cows.
And I have to say, even the last class, I still learned so much. And that just in watching him work, I noticed things that he was doing that I didn't notice in previous classes. He was still doing the same thing, but I was picking up on more
that's really
and
maturity.
learning more. So it doesn't matter how many classes you've taken with Larry. And for those who've never taken them, I promise you, you will learn so much and have such a wonderful time that you will go home and you just can't wait to start.
That's amazing.
You gain so much, and you gain lifetime friends. I have met other artists that have gone to his classes, and we have been friends ever since, and they're the best friends I've ever had. So it's just, you can't put a price tag on what you bring back from those classes.
So what's he like as a teacher?
He's really amazing. He's funny. We're always cutting up, and you're always having fun. But he really knows, obviously, he really knows what he's talking about. And he has a way of doing it so that you're never bored, you're always engaged, and you're having fun while you're doing it. And he covers all the basics, from perspective to, he even brings in a model for a day and shows you how to shoot a model with your camera so that you get less distortion, so that you can use that as reference when you're drawing.
Wow.
Yeah, lighting, color, the whole range of stuff he covers and goes over. So it is really a week of just being a sponge and soaking up as much as you can. He has so much to offer.
Wow. Okay.
This is making me listen.
I missed him last week. I was a bit bummed out. I was really looking forward to try, because last year I did not get to interview Larry, and he had a game come out where he did a lot of the art, and I wanted to do like an hour-long spread on it, and I was really bummed out that he didn't make it. But such is life. I'm sure I will see him somewhere this year or next year. He only goes to about 25 shows.
No, he's cut back a lot. Down. So 5 shows a year now, and he's doing more and more work.
He's doing more of what he wants to do, which is kind of awesome.
Yeah, that's really like, know you're there when you can say, no, I want to do it this way.
Yes.
And you're going to listen because I'm Larry Elmore. Okay. I'm paying you to tell me what you're going to do. You know that. Yeah.
There's a big difference in artwork. It has somebody else telling you what to do in your own stuff, too. It's like more relaxed. It's more...
I think that really depends on the client. I'm writing some stuff, and it's like really odd because I've written some stuff for other games that was like fan fiction. So you have all this room with the IP to kind of do what you want to do. And then you say, hey, what do you think of this? Well, I don't like it because it stepped on my IP or whatever. Well, what can I fix? But when, like, I was hired to do some game rule stuff, and it's like, he's like, this is my idea, make it fit. And I'm like, your idea is like 2 paragraphs, and I'm supposed to write 10,000 words out of this. So that for me has been a real challenge. So, maybe in art it's a lot different. Yeah, because it's like, oh, well, you said this, and that's what this is over here. You can make it up. But I would think that some like, at least within the gaming world, they're probably real picky with their IP.
It depends. I really had a good experience with Murderwise Productions. when they gave me the general idea, they were usually very specific in what they wanted, enough that I got a good idea, and so it wasn't like.
Yeah, I mean, the original Magic the Gathering stuff, they only give you like 2 sentences to draw the whole picture.
Yeah,
So-
it wasn't much more than that, so they were.
Yeah, and I suppose in some cases, but now it's like, my gosh, Magic the Gathering, for every expansion, they have an art director that his job is to say, this fits with this expansion. And he looks at 10 or 15 pictures of each picture, and he's like, this one fits best. So, I don't know, it's kind of, I mean, that would be a weird, I don't know if I'd want a job like that where I don't know, that'd be odd. And like, yeah, it kind of makes my skin crawl. Because, well, it does, because it's like, yeah, this fits and this doesn't. It's like, who am I really to say that? I mean, this is what this artist interpreted from what they gave that person to work with. That would be so tough for me. I wouldn't want that job. But now, tough question.
Okay.
Dream piece. Because you made me ask this question.
I don't have one yet because I'm at a stage right now where I can't even think of what I want to do next.
You have artist block.
So I do. I've been blocked for about a month now.
Well, if it's anything like writer's block, you better get that piece of paper out and start drawing. Because
Yes.
that's Mike Stackpole, Matt Forbeck, Jane Ray, and just about anybody else who's on the symposium stuff at Gen Con, they all say that's the best time to write. So if it's anything like writer's block, draw or paint, whichever your favorite medium is.
So much
Actually,
spare
drawing
time.
is my favorite. I like the
Seem to-
pencils, the black and
I
whites.
kind of think most people start with a pencil,
Yeah.
irregardless of whether they're painting on a canvas or not. That's what I see Ed do every year at Origins. He always does something big at Origins. And what about your favorite or dream piece? So I have no idea.
No, I have too many ideas. That's the thing. I've got a list of things that
There's a mural right there. Start at one end of history and end at the other.
No, I'm just
Have you seen Ed Beard's van yet?
Yes. It's gorgeous.
It's amazing. There
I
you
haven't
go.
seen it in
I-
person, but I've seen his photos on Facebook and stuff. It looks amazing.
He tells the story. I'll have to give you guys the link. He's got the whole story of it. Like he starts at the front. He walked around the van at Origins with me. We got it on tape as he's
Oh,
telling the
cool.
story. Hours in that van. I can't imagine the hours in that van. Although for Ed, that's
I think he was, 3 months painting it?
yeah, I don't
Yeah, I
know,
think
a
he
lot.
was down in Florida for like 3 months.
He was down there for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
I didn't ask him how long it took. I saw it just last week and it levels me still. It's just like, I've seen this like 3 times now. It's just like, whoa. It's really something else. And I guess that, that's one cool thing about it. When you get that far, you can do what you want to do. What about aspirations? Besides, you guys want to start a business together.
Well, I want to have 2 castles. And
An artist community.
And a medieval village in the middle where all of my artist friends can have a store on the bottom of them.
And a harem for Larry.
And a harem there.
He's already got a harem. He drew it.
Then every year we'll have the castles wage war against each other with water balloons. We'll capture the flag. See, it's not so bad after.
That's pretty cool, actually. Castles are expensive, though.
I know. So I'm an
But
artist.
to have our
so-
own little medieval town with our own little shops and studios.
For Ren fairs and stuff. That'd be kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Well, see
Yeah.
it's stages first.
Where would you put it?
Seattle is one of the places, or near Asheville, or near Greenville.
Greenville.
We've actually put
Quite a bit of thought.
Land's pretty cheap in Pittsburgh or in
So
PA.
you start with the medieval inn, and then you rent it out and do tiny cons, and then you build the village.
There
around
is a
it.
model for that for you, sort of. I don't know how, I haven't been there yet, but Ravenwood Castle in Ohio.
I've heard it's nice, but I haven't been there yet either.
Well, go look online. They got rooms, cottages, trailer, or I guess they're wagons. It looks like it's pretty cool. And it's not terribly too expensive.
Well, the fellow who runs the Tennessee Ren Fest has his own castle. And he's been building it in stages. He started off with a tower. He lives in it.
I'm not sure he actually built this. I think it was here for a while. I mean, not like, when I look at it, it looks more like it was a mansion, an old, early settled mansion type of thing, which a mansion over here is about the size of a castle in Europe. So, it doesn't look that big from the pictures. But it looks tall and it looks impressive. I mean, it looks like it's got a 60-foot tower. I guess there's a question. I told you it was going to be a conversation, not an interview. How come you primarily focus on, like, both of you seem to focus on, like, individual characters as opposed to, like, I don't know the right words. So I'm going to make this pretty kind of sound dumb.
Instead of landscape.
Not so much landscape, but, like, Larry puts 2 or 3 characters in this full scene. And you guys don't seem to do that. Is that like a developing stage, or is that something you're just not interested in?
Well, a lot of the illustration work I get is actual character artwork, so it is the individual.
So you're paying the bills.
Well, there's that, and then too, I mean, I don't know. It's like I feel like if I have a character, there's a whole lot of story to that personality that you don't always have to have other people in there. Like a lot of mine have like a person and animal or something like that. So it's like the dragon maiden, there's the lady, and then there's the dragon, and she has her own little story. So it's like, I don't know. We don't have like groups.
Yeah, I think we concentrate more on individual character stories as diverse as a whole book story where you would have several characters. So I think our thinking pattern is just a little different.
That, and it takes more time, the more faces are in a picture.
Plus you have to paint much larger paintings
Mhm.
in order to get in all the details of the individual characters. And I know
And time is money.
Yes, and I know that a lot of our original artwork is much smaller. I mean, Larry will paint these big, huge paintings, that
They're
he
like
does.
here.
Yeah, so you can only get so much detail into that size.
I don't have the speed that Larry does. He whips them out in like 2 weeks,
Well,
something
yeah,
like that.
but he's been doing it as long as you've been alive.
Yeah, well.
Or longer. Probably longer.
Well, I have a 3-year-old too, so I have only like a couple hours a day to actually work, so I don't have the
That
whole...
makes it rough, too.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, Larry's been doing Dragonlance art as long as I can remember.
As long as
And he's
Dragonlance has been around.
And he's been doing art since before that.
Mhm.
I don't know how much art, but I mean, he's been doing art for, 40 years? At least.
Wow.
He's truly a master.
Yes, yes.
He would be what you call a grandmaster in the old days.
I want to be his apprentice.
I think there's a long line of
There is,
people
there
that
is.
want to be his
In
apprentice.
a way, you already are. You've gone to his classes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But we used to joke because he said that he preferred doing landscapes, and I'm like, well, I prefer doing people. And I was like, you draw the landscapes, I'll do the people. Fine. But, yeah.
He might take you up on it.
Nah. He's set in his ways.
Yeah, he was talking to Sandra Garrity about a whole bunch of stuff. That's a whole nother conversation. Anyway, I think, wow, gosh, what else can we add?
I don't know.
I mean,
We're getting really off topic.
Oh,
here
no,
and everything.
I don't really think there was a topic.
Okay.
I mean, it's just, these interviews with artists are just more about fun than anything.
Okay.
One last shameless plug for our Kickstarters.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, which you haven't done yet, which they're coming out in the
there's
future.
somebody that's supposed to help us with that, so if he doesn't do it...
Yeah, where are you, Andy? He's doing all their art.
Soon there will be a Kickstarter for an art book for me and an art book for her.
And then we're going to do a joint art book with
Now-
a couple of other artists from Larry's class, and it's going to be the Women of Larry.
Larry's
From
Angels.
from his class.
The
We're
Women
all
of
going to do a
Larry.
book together.
Oh, where's the bourbon?
Well, it's just that a lot of Larry's female students, we've all become friends. You
Yes.
know? So we all like started hanging out and socializing. We're like, we need to do an art book together. So it'd be like us and Jasmine Beckett Griffith, is that her name?
Yes, Deanna
and
DeVoe.
Deanna and Elizabeth and let's see,
Several others.
there's people, lots of people, cool people.
And are the books going to be like an art book, like sketch art, and then like description of the art, or are they going to be more like?
This is going to be our career kind of book. It's going to be like my body of work. So, it's...
So it's going to be your art, basically. The first one's going to be your art, basically.
Right, and
it's
the
gonna
next one will be hers, and then...
So there's not going to be like any how-to or anything like that, or...
How to go to art class with Larry and learn how to do stuff. First, you sign up.
Write a check.
Be prepared to have lots of fun.
Bring booze.
Oh, yeah, sketchbook.
And a sketchbook. Oh, yeah. Material, yeah.
Yeah, my wife's going to do this. That sounds like you guys have a blast.
Okay, we didn't booze that much, but it's just funny to say.
No, but you bring the booze for Larry, who can really put it away. He told me to go get him a drink and count on the cow. I came back with like 12 ounces of bourbon. He goes, "You're my kind of guy." And he drank it all.
I don't doubt it.
Anyway, well, where can they find you online and stuff? Like, do you have Facebook pages you want, Twitter?
LindsayArcher.com. I've also got the Art and Magic of Lindsay Archer on Facebook. Got
Yep.
Twitter. We've both got Zazzle, and we both have Etsy,
Etsy.
and DeviantArt.
Yes, DeviantArt, Etsy.
Yeah,
Mine is The Art of
DeviantArt's-
Tammy Pryce on Facebook. And then my website is just www.tammypryce.com.
That works.
So,
Well, there you go, gamers. That was not really about gaming as much as it was about getting to know some artists that get to put themselves on paper for you. And we're at CharCon in Charleston, West Virginia. And where's the next place they can find you?
Sarasota. Mm-hmm.
We're setting up together a lot, so expect to see us.
And Sarasota is
A
a
very
Ren Fair?
nice Ren Fair, yes.
And
And
it'd be
it's
like-
a 2-weekend Ren Fair, middle of November.
So that's probably one of the last ones for the season.
Yes.
We'll be here again next year, too. Right? Both of us?
Yes,
Okay.
we're scheduled for next
Well,
year as guests.
Yeah, both of you have been here a few years now, right?
No, this is my first year. She's
Oh,
been here
you've been here a
before.
couple years.
This will be my
See, I
second
do a
year.
little reading.
Yeah. I think I'm the guest of honor next year for the art, I believe.
Well, that's
so.
good.
So,
She doesn't know.
I don't know. Her husband does all of our planning and stuff, so I don't know.
I will leave that alone.
Yes, if you're interested in contacting us for a show, please feel free to do so.
He does that so we can do more art.
She guys
That's
coming to Con on the Cob next year?
I'd like to.
Like to. Con on the Cob is fun.
Yeah, I like
It's
it.
a nice little con.
You gonna fly us up there?
No. I barely have enough money for me to drive back and forth. Like, I thought I was going to be thumbing it this year. But anyway. Night all.